Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is July 13th, 2021, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the markets continue to rally, and we're going to discuss that in just a second. But first, looking at the major economic events of the day, at 2:30 South African time, out of the United States, we have a core price index number. That's a inflationary number. It's a monthly number, but it is still very important. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs have a slight bounce, while we're looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ continue rebounding to its highs. But the question is it solidified? Because the stocks are not doing that. Now, looking at the commodities, both oil and gold pretty much unchanged. While we're looking at the stock market, JP Morgan has its quarterly earning report later today. That's an important event. But looking at the stocks, they're looking kind of weak. Now, looking at Bitcoin, trading at the bottom of the range and looking slightly weak. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start out with a 4-hour chart of the EURUSD, and you see we got this bounce up to 118.60-ish level, but really trading in a tight range as this had bounced off of its 117.92, which means we're about a 70 pip range altogether. Now, there is a bona fide resistance level at this 1880-ish level, so just be aware of it. Now, looking at GBP USD, also at the top of the range, but that's something I'd like to see. If it doesn't break that top of the range, then I do expect it to trade between 1387 and somewhere in the 137.60-ish level. So those are the two major pairs that we're going to be covering, because there's not much really doing with the Forex symbols lately. Now, looking at gold, also not doing much. It's been really trading. If we look at a 1-hour chart, it's been trading between this 1813 and 1792-ish level for over the last week and a half. So that's a decent range for it to be in. So if you want to play the ranges, no problem. Just sell the top of the range and buy the bottom of the range, and just realize that, that's what you're getting out of it. Until we break somewhere out of this range, we're going to continue. Now, looking at oil, same story. Okay, trading at this 74.23-ish level between 72.97. It did have a nice bounce, but that's it. I mean, it's really just trading sideways at this stage. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, we traded yesterday. Look at our 4-hour chart. We traded yesterday back to our 34,853, close to our 35,000 high. Okay, only about 150 points away from it. Now, this is going into the numbers today, where Bank of America, JP Morgan, some of the major financial institutions are coming out with their earning reports. Now, that is significant, okay, because it could be just a setup before we, have somewhat of a sell-off. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, same story, at the top of that range at 14,875. But for this to be a solidified range-bound breakout, I need to see some resilience in the stocks. Now, we did have a nice run-up, but they're not breaking out higher. Now, let's look at the high-tech stocks. Apple sold off at this 143-ish level after touching its highs and trading at 142. Doesn't mean that it can't have a rebound. I just want to wait for it to get that rebound, to get that push higher for me to have that confirmation. Now, looking at Facebook also, trailing back to 354. Looking at Amazon, on close to its highs. So the stocks are there. And lastly, looking at Microsoft, also close to its 278 high. But it needs to really break out for me to get that kind of conviction that it's going to go even higher. Now, lastly, looking at JP Morgan with this number coming out today, you see that resilience at 157. Let's see what happens today with the number coming out. Just remember your levels. 165 is your resistance-ish level. So if it does pop up close to that, just remember what your level's at. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin trading, really, let's look at it daily. It's been trading so soft, and it's creating this somewhat of a downward wedge formation. Okay, right there, you could see it. It's just getting weaker and weaker. But in these type of situations, you may see itself pop in either direction. I don't like to take this type of chance, especially since it's trading at that support level. If it does break this 32,263, okay, 32-ish level right here, 32,800 right now. But if it does break this area, okay, this 3,200, then we could see it back down at 29,000. So just be aware of it. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but you do want to know your levels, especially when we have big numbers coming out. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.